stuck in the ground. Stuck in the ground, I'm stuck in the ground. Look me in my eyes, call me on my lies. I'm stuck in this ground, I'm stuck in this ground. Middle of the night, kitchen lights is on. Roll me up a...
Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Creole Kisses Diary. Today I have a very sad story. In Arkansas, 2 sisters were shot and killed after they confronted a beauty supply store employee along with their mother. According to the Clark News, which is in Arkansas, Mernaiya Myers, who was 22, and Mernaiya Myers, who was 19, entered the simple, unique beauty supply store with their mother. They went to confront one of the workers about a personal matter last Wednesday. Surveillance footage showed that the argument turned into a physical altercation. Moments after, both of the sisters were both shot in the back of their head, while their mother fled the scene. So according to the Hot Springs police, they said in a report that the fight was about an ongoing personal dispute. The detectives are working on this investigation. They state it's fresh. Anything like this is hard to work, not only for the families, but for the officers and detectives. Any death is very unfortunate, and we will work with them. We are praying for them, and hopefully they can work through this. And that was a statement from one of the detectives. It was noted that the sister's mother has been identified by the police. However, her name has not been released to the public. As of right now, there also has not been any report of the shooter being charged for the killings. There was a witness that was there by the name of Stephen Sellers. He said in an interview that his customers were telling him about the shooting, but he brushed it off at first. He came in, mentioned some commotion over about a block away from where we were, and I kind of brushed it off. And then another lady came in about 30 minutes to an hour later, and she had mentioned that she witnessed the same commotion. This is truly a really sad story. These young girls, I just wish that people today refrain from arguing over petty things. I'm not sure of what they were arguing about, but somewhere I read it was regarding a guy or something. Anyway, 22-year-old Mernaiya Myers, according to her Facebook, she was a cosmetologist, and she's a beautiful girl. Looks like she went to cosmetology school, and what a waste. What a waste. I'm going to read a couple of comments that were left on her page. One person, Donnelly Karina, said, "What happened to an old-fashioned beatdown? Why kill them? I used to be like just fighting and ish, but some people don't care. They will kill you." Shaking my head, I wouldn't have shot them, no. R.I.P. Then Kelly Henry says, "Donnelly Karina, what happened to old-fashioned parenting when you diffuse a situation your child might have with another instead of denounce driving them to their death? Why the girl's mother didn't try to talk to the other female's mother and some grown women-ish." Then we have Kelly Henry. She says, "This whole situation is sad all around, period. A mother loses 2 daughters and another might lose her daughter to the system. I think this whole situation could have been handled better on both sides." I personally agree with that. I think that the mom, being an older woman, should have went and diffused the problem, but it sounds like she may have went in and pumped up the issue and made it more than what it was, and then it got the girls more hyped up and more pumped up to get into a fight, which caused them, in turn, to be shot. Okay, here are a few pictures of Mernaiya Myers. Such a beautiful girl. Young babies. Gone. What a waste. Okay, and here's Mernaiya Myers. She goes by Nana. She's 19 years old. She was the youngest sister of Mernaiya Myers. Looks like she went to Lakeside High School. She was a former manager of Forever 21 and studied at the University of Arkansas. These sound like very smart girls that ended up in a bad situation and caused them to lose their lives. What a shame. You could be here 1 minute and gone the next. Man, I wish people would practice self-control. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. So an anonymous person left a message. She said, "These are the facts. My best friend is best friends with Shorty in the purple. It was premeditated. The day before they were shot, that crazy bee waited outside her ex-man's house from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning, waiting for the girl in the purple to come outside. And she hit her in the head with a rail. She still has a scar and knot on her dead body from that. She did all this over a ninja. Then the next day she texted Shorty and said, 'Pull up,' so they could all squash it with Shorty's mother there too. And of course, that's not what she really wanted to do. An altercation happened and they started all fighting and shots went off. Them babies tried to run and she shot them both in the back of the head. These are facts." Then another anonymous person said, "What you all may not know is that the 25-year-old shooter pulled the 19-year-old victim from a home the night before and attacked her over a 22-year-old boy. She was older, bigger, and a bully. This is why they showed up to her job." The next day, she had no problem inflicting bodily harm on another, but decided to end their lives when the same thing happened to her. Although no one's actions may be justifiable, please don't be so quick to speak on things you know nothing about. Leave your condolences or say nothing at all. This is their picture and their page. So I found a video of Mernaiya Myers in 2018, and she speaks about her childhood briefly. Also, there's an interview from her mom. Check it out.
Around about the age of 9, you're not thinking about when you're going to see your family again, or if you're going to see your family again. You're more focused on, just 9-year-old things. And at the age of 9, it was a difficult time for me. I had to move out of Hot Springs, which was where my home was, all that I knew, and I had to go to Virginia. And I had never even heard of this place, these people. I never heard of them. So it was frustrating, it was scary, and it was lonely.
Mernaiya is my daughter. It was in 2006 when I had traffic tickets unpaid and didn't have it. So I had to go and do 10 days in jail for not paying. And while I was in there 10 days, I left them with my son's father, and they got taken. Police got called and the kids got taken in foster care, and I was incarcerated and couldn't do nothing about it.
So before I went to foster care, or to Virginia, I had to be in foster care. And I was here, I can't exactly remember, I was somewhere in Arkansas, but I just remember like the people that were taking care of me, my sister at the time, they didn't accept our color. So a lot of the times, they had children of their own, but a lot of the times me and my sister had to sit on the floor. We weren't called by our names, our birth names, and we didn't get to play with certain kids. And at the time, they were living on a farm, so they tortured us with the animals because they knew that we were afraid of them, and they knew that that wasn't different for us. But yet, they still let the pigs out, had the dogs chasing us around the farm. At the time, it might seem funny now, but at the time it was more like, why? What do we do to, deserve this?
The worst feeling, being in jail and can't do nothing about it. And I was a good mother. I had my kids with me all the time. Dress, all that. They had food. They had no reason to take them. House, bed, clothes, and more.
While I was in this foster home, me and my sister, I remember this one time we were eating on the floor, and they had daughters of their own. They had like 3 daughters, and they were all at the table eating and stuff like that, and they were eating chicken and eating good, and we were over here eating like bologna sandwiches and stuff. So the life in Virginia with my aunt, like learning first of all, it was a different atmosphere. My aunt was more religious, and my mom had grew up in a church, but as she got older, she never really grew back to that. So when I moved with my aunt, I got saved at 9 years old, and I fell in love with God. So that was the positive aspect of it. But also, I was around nobody my age. Like, my household, they were all teenagers, and we were all girls. But my cousins and me, like, we fought a lot. I remember one time she felt that I was taking over her household because I was calling her mom. And the only reason, I remember myself doing this because I didn't want people asking questions like, why do you live with your, in my business? And so I just remember the altercation where we just got into it, and I think I happened to throw her down some stairs or something, I don't know, but I didn't really get along with my cousins because she didn't understand what I was going through, and I didn't know who she was to even explain to her what I was going through.
So one day you got out of jail, and was able to get you, and you came home in 2009.
So about after 5 years, I moved back home when my dad was finally released out of prison. I was about 14, so that's when I moved here to Lakeside my freshman year. At the beginning, it was kind of shaky, it was rocky because it was new for me. I didn't remember the people that remembered me at the time. Like I said, I was young, so I didn't remember. And sometimes that created problems. So after all this is said and done, I think that you can see that people take their family and their mom for granted and stuff. And it's just, I want to say that it's a blessing for me to be here today because I could have been gone a long time ago. There were plenty of opportunities for me to be taken out. And I think that the reason I'm still here is because there's a lot for me to do. I think that people should know that people in foster care and people in adoption, they don't always make it out. And I was blessed to still be around my family and be in my hometown and see my mother every day, with or without the court's permission. So I feel that I am a blessing, and this is a miracle. And this